We were in the middle of doing Grant's brakes on his Tahoe when UPS came and delivered something amazing. What's it gonna be? I got myself a hooker
with a black heart.
Oh baby, I got myself a black-hearted hooker. This kind of has me worried though, where the collector flange was, or not the collector, but the flange was hanging out.
That's the flugel valve, isn't it?
Let's open this box and see.
I think that's the flugel valve. You want to borrow my knife?
Don't give me any more. That's enough.
No, it's never enough.
Oh, maybe this one wants to come first. Oh, sweet bejeez. Oh, hunkin'.
It's like a horn. You can play it like a jacked up saxophone.
I got you. I got you.
It's an octopus. Oh no, it's an instrument. That's a messed up echo.
Sound good.
That's the mating sound of the wild man.
Nice. These are the Hooker Blackheart swap headers. These are the 1 7/8 inch primary tubes, which are probably too big for right now, but why not prep for big power? Yeah. Stay tuned. Almost got every part. In fact, I have enough parts right now that I could just start the swap, and I'm stoked. Came with gaskets and bolts. Good, I'm glad it came with bolts. I was actually wondering if I was going to have to use these nasties. Right on. Okay, on the motor, LS motor update. Continuing, we got the EGR and EVAP block off. Put on. Coils, coil packs are put on. Saltwater pump. Got the power steering bracket and the alternator put on. And right now, I just started working on the wiring harness, getting it laid out, getting it labeled. And right now, I want to do a test fit on the motor. I want to put the harness on here, kind of lay it out where everything's going to go. There's a few plugs I don't know exactly what to go for, so I want to see where they're at. I kind of want to see where the wiring harness lands, because I think I want to extend it to go into the car. So I'm probably going to have to extend the firewall, or not the firewall, but the harness, computer plugs, probably several feet longer to go into the car. So right now, I'm just going to get the harness kind of loosely set on the motor so that I can kind of figure out where things are going to land, maybe see if I can identify a couple of the plugs that are a mystery to me. I got it figured out. That actually wasn't too bad once I actually started doing it. So the main part was trying to figure out where this went first, because I totally spaced it out since last time I actually put this together. So with the bulk sitting right here, this might not even go right here, but it's in the right area. So this plug, I did not know what this was, but now I think that is a knock sensor that I need to keep. So figured out what that one was. And then I know that all this stuff coming back here, we got these plugs for here, that's cam sensor, oil pressure, got a ground, yeah, ground right here, actually another ground right there. All this is for transmission, and then coming around here, all the injectors, that's fine. Up in the front, we got throttle position, which is right here, idle air control, which is there, alternator, which is there, evap purge, that's what we removed with this, so that's red because that's going to go. So that takes care of that branch. Coming down this way, coolant temp right there. Then we got a ground. Also, that could be up there, I don't know, I'll figure that out. But then it wraps underneath the motor. It's not the final location, but it'll be tucked away where it's supposed to go. Up to here, the crank sensor. This is the oil level, which used to be like right here, no longer needed. And then this is the starter. And then these are just AC connections, air conditioning that will be removed. And then skipping to right here, this is the main loom. And so the computer would sit over here because this is where the fuse block would be. So all these went into the CE2 plug in the computer, which was all on this side of the fender on a Chevy truck. So all these are labeled. And I think these plugs come off all except for maybe a couple wires. And then coming out the back on this side, opposite of the transmission, two plugs. I don't know what they are. I saw in a different video that they were not used on someone else's, and I'm thinking that's the same for mine because I have nothing to plug them into. So I'm going to consider those are not needed. Working my way down, we have, let's see, low coolant. That doesn't make sense though. Why is that? Oh, why is that there? And math. So these actually somehow should be routed up towards the front. That I need to investigate. Then this down here, I'm thinking that this is the front O2, and then way down the line is the rear O2. That goes there. Oh, here is the EGR, which is blocked off, so that's why that's red, that gets deleted. The air box on the Chevy truck came off this side, and so this was probably up here going mass airflow to the airbox and low coolant to, I don't know, a hose or a bracket over here. So, sorry, I'm trying to do this with one hand. This one stretches out to the forward, and then this one goes to the back. So that's good. But since I don't think I'm using this low coolant, that's white because I didn't know if that was a for sure thing. So that'll probably come out. I want to reroute this mass airflow probably over to right about here because the intake will probably come off like this. So it'll probably route it up over here somewhere. So I just need to remember that the mass airflow should be up here with like the throttle position sensor and all that stuff. Yeah, this part is really scaring me because I'm not good at wiring. So I'm getting it figured out. I'm going to get it figured out. So I'm going to take this back off, lay it on the floor, and start pulling back the harness, and then start pulling out all these lines. All right, I'm just picking at this. This is going to take a long time, so Basically what I did was I pulled back all the sheathing for this first main area off these plugs. That's all that crap right there. Pulled off the ends of the computer plugs, which is the blue and red and the plastic covers, which are here and here. Labeled them blue, which is actually coming off. That's scary. Need to rewrite that on there. And red. Then I used the LT1 swap list, and I went through and deleted all the yellow highlighted items like you're supposed to. Checked them off as I did that. Did that for both the blue and the red plugs. And this is what I have left over to pull out of the harness. So several wires to pull out. And then I've got to clip this plug, and this blue one, and then fish those out as well, except for possibly 4 wires, which I have labeled right here. I see a check engine light. I see an oil pressure, I think. There's a couple more in there. I can't read those right now, but I do have a list. So that's going to be all done. I am going to keep the basic shape of this harness, but I think with the flex wrap that I am going to use, that I'm going to have a little more flexibility in routing this stuff, but I'm going to keep the same basic shape, but it won't be stiff with like this heated up corrugated stuff. So I will be using the flex stuff, so I don't think I have to be exactly perfect on keeping the exact shape, but I will keep it close. So this is just the first part. There's still lots to do. I'm still intimidated, but I'm thinking as I unwrap things and start pulling things out and it gets thinner, that it will become less intimidating. So that's what I will continue to do. Before I get too far in the harness, I want to check to see my transmission plugs, because I was looking at pictures and the ones I have don't seem to match exactly. So I figured I'd plug them in. Obviously, this big round plug. This is not an O2 sensor, so I'm glad I checked that. That is a vehicle speed sensor, I think. And then I thought this was an O2, but it's not. That's this right here, I believe, is the O2 sensor. Because most O2 sensors have tan wires, and this one has one. So that's not an O2, that's another front vehicle speed sensor. So I'm thinking this right here. Now see, the problem is I have this harness is from a 4-wheel drive, so this could be for the transfer case, or it could be the rear O2. I don't know for sure. But then I have this thinking this was a transmission range sensor, but this plug is humongous. And this one, I don't know why it's all jacked up, does not plug into that. So something's going on, but I am glad that I'm checking this stuff now and not when it's in the car. So I got some more figuring out to do. I did find out what's going on with this. Basically, this has a little bit newer plug than what I have. I have a 2-plug neutral safety switch and sensor, whatever. And so I already got one on order. It was like $26 on eBay. So all I have to do is just pop this off, put the other one on that has the 2 plugs, and I should be good to go. I already got the O2 figured out, and that's already stripped from the harness, and just have this front one. So basically speed sensor, main plug, and the 2 plugs that go into that new sensor once I get it. And this is where I'm at right now so far. These are all looms from stuff that I have stripped from this harness. So it's actually getting pretty darn close. So I moved the harness over to the motor, And then now I'm seeing with the header on where my O2 sensor can go. So this is an O2 sensor, and this only needs to go right here, but yet it's that long. So I'm thinking I can shorten this up by, like, even if I was conservative, 2 feet. This is the wiring for the trans. This will all connect right about here, but this one's probably okay because here's the O2 for this one, and it'll probably just stretch back like that. So I think this one's fine. That one, I think I can shorten up big time. So also, I am moving this mass airflow. It would normally go, I don't know why this one's so long either. It would normally, it was routed with the O2. So it was meant to, like, come back here and then plug in, I don't know, right about here-ish. So now I am moving it because I'm thinking the air box will be on this side. And then I'll plug it in, I don't know, somewhere over here. Maybe right about here. So I'm not shortening, I'm just going to bring this over to this side. I think when the time comes, I'm going to try to get this bundle like under here, coming out through here. This will go into the firewall, probably more centered right about there. And that gives me a couple feet to hook this up, which means I don't have to extend that. That's awesome news. And then this side, I don't think I can get away with having at least one big bundle on top. So I think that's how it's going to be. It's going to have like one like mohawk bundle up the center, down, and then through there and there. So I think we got the routing figured out. Now I got to finish everything else with the wiring. But look at those headers. Dang, those look good. And look at, they work perfectly with these motor mounts. They fit perfect. I got a lot more loomed up right now. Slowly working on it, and as I'm going through some stuff, I'm finding some problems. Like, look at this cam sensor. Look at how the wires are all exposed. So that is no good. Don't want to use that. So I went to the junkyard and got another one. I'm getting ready to solder that on right now. And then I did have some injectors break off, like this, and here. So that's not good. So I actually got another string of injectors from the junkyard as well. So those need to go on there. And then I was noticing on the transmission plug that the ground wire had actually broke off. And this plug, these wires were tugged on pretty hard by the person who unplugged this because they're really hard to get off. They're like a factory glue right there. So that got pulled out. So I actually went to the junkyard and found a new one of those as well. So I'm going to solder this in too. So this is a good time to check your plugs too and make sure that everything looks good when you go put it together. You don't want to like put it back together and find out that you got stripped wires. So look how nice it is. Time to get some soldering done.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
Go away!
What is this?
Go away!